Hi everybody, welcome to this edition of MOCPA Bar Talk. I'm Andrew Groh, and today we're here with Dr. John Seiffertt, Assistant Professor at Providence College in Rhode Island. Dr. Seiffertt, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Andrew.
And that brings up a really great question about AI and ethics.
Right.
So read many articles about advances in artificial intelligence in a variety of application and use. What are you teaching your students, or what conversations are you having around that space about not just implementation and use, but how should AI be deployed and looked at from a human perspective?
It's very important to keep in mind that these algorithms aren't just some monolithic entity out there that we must take direction from. They're being deployed in so many areas that we look at every day, such as in Facebook and YouTube, curating content in various ways. These artificial intelligence algorithms are affecting the broader picture, the broader things that people talk about in the world, things that they might be exposed to. And I would just encourage people to be aware of this and understand the potential limits there, which goes back to the idea of using it in a professional capacity. You have to be able to understand that this AI algorithm is not 100%, and if one little error someplace is going to be catastrophic, you must ethically be much more vigilant than you would otherwise.
So, I won't ask you your opinion on this one, but do you see ethics and social media, which has been a topic of discussion in our society over the last many years? Is that real? Do you see kind of maybe some ethical, at least considerations to think about based on technical expertise in AI?
Yes, absolutely. The big fear is that people will not realize where the algorithm ends and what the power of the algorithm is. The best way to go against this unethical use of algorithms is for people to step back and say, well, I understand that this is a computer program that's creating a computer program to do something, and I'm not just going to accept the results necessarily. I think that there's other places to do this. In human processes such as applying for a loan at a bank, do you want an algorithm doing that, or do you want humans more in the loop? What is fair, what is just for the entire society? These things need to be worked out, and the first step to working them out is even knowing that they're a problem.
Right.
And from my perspective, I see a lot of people in technology adjacent professions, not the ones that are creating the technology, but the ones that are using it, who place a little too much faith, who think a little too less about, should I be computing this, as opposed to, can I be computing this?
That's interesting. And I think that the idea of professional skepticism, of course, for CPAs is baked in with CPA culture. The audit itself is rooted in professional skepticism, even personal skepticism. When we talk about social media and other
absolutely.
types of application and use, we understand that, and points well taken. And I'm sure that's maybe something that will come up or be coming up in some new projects or programs that you're working on. Can you share with us a little bit about kind of where your kind of passion is taking you, and where maybe the future and further collision of computer science and accounting is going to be for you?
Yeah, I'm really passionate about sharing these issues with the profession. Going away from just talking to technologists and talking to the users of the technology. I'm working on a book now that is sort of a professional's guide to all this AI in the business professions, AI, marketing, and finance. And I think that'll hopefully be readable by people without a computer science background, and help people understand what to think about. Because the most important thing is to know what questions to even ask, right? Accountants and the other business professionals are plenty capable of thinking through these issues. They just need to know what are the issues that are available.
Yeah, even in your thinking about that upcoming publication, are some of the things we've talked about today
Yes,
part of what you're going to be discussing and want to keep going?
Yeah. It's a much longer treatment of these, and I'm writing an asset article that goes into these issues as well.
Yeah, and what's the title of your asset article going to be?
Something along the lines of AI Beyond the Hype: A Professional's Guide for using these technologies to guide your claims.
Yeah, and beyond the hype, and I think this has come out in this podcast today is really that professional skepticism. Going back to that again, is what should we be trusting and what should we be saying? You know what? This is a fantastic tool, but let's take this and then really critically think about what it means, what it's saying.
100%, Andrew. I don't want to undersell the power of AI. It is remarkable. Computers are phenomenal technologies, and they can do a lot of things to help humans not have to do some of the drudge work that's involved in certain kinds of jobs. But you can't allow it to go too far and take over the things that are uniquely human about various decision processes in a profession and in society at large.
That's cool, and I can't go without sharing with our members. Dr. Seiffertt. This is Dr. Seiffert's brand new digital logic for computing. I cannot say that I've read this cover to cover, but between that and unified computational intelligence for complex systems. Is this the bread and butter, really, some of these types of topics that you're sharing with your students and really is the core of computer science itself?
Yeah. These are deep dive books for technologists to dive into and learn how to use some of the technology. Is that what we
can expect with a practitioner's handbook that's coming out?
No. Okay. Practitioner's handbook might have an appendix with some equations in it. I might not be able to help myself, but it's mainly going to be a guide to what are the technologies, where in your workflow would you use them, what are the considerations that you would think about, and what are these big questions? What are humans? That's what the book's about. Where does the computer end and the human begin, and how can we use that in our professional lives?
Well, this is all very, very exciting and very timely. We talked a little bit at the very beginning of this podcast, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it, so I'll mention it here, but we see AI as one of the least developed of the four major disruptive technologies that we're focusing on this year. And we expect that to, over the next couple of years, flow into more application and use as more companies, more research are being kind of smashed together for best application and use. Is there anything else that we're kind of missing with this conversation today? Something that you've been dying to share with us that you think that CPA firms need to understand?
I think AI technology is only going to get better, faster. I mentioned hardware acceleration before. We're creating computer chips now that are specially designed just for artificial intelligence, and that's creating a lot of changes in what's capable. So this is not a technology to ignore. This is a technology to look at and understand and embrace in the appropriate context.
Can I ask you one quick question that popped into my mind? We talked about supercomputers and the ability to compute in larger and larger amounts.
Yes.
How close are we to, kind of the pinnacle of supercomputing?
Oh, we are very, very far away from that. We are the things the human brain can do, our computers aren't close to doing in a general artificial intelligence sense. What our computers can do are very specific, very powerful, specialized tasks that we as engineers develop the tools for, and that your members and others as practitioners deploy in their work lives.
Fantastic. Dr. Seiffertt, thank you so much for coming on MOCPA Bar Talk.
You're welcome. Thanks for being interested in this technology.
Yeah, and we can look forward to catching your asset article here shortly after this podcast is aired. And I would encourage all viewers and listeners to check that out. And for a deeper dive, Dr. Seiffert's contact information will be provided on this podcast. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this segment, check out the entire episode, and if there's a topic you would like to see us cover, comment below.